If you have been to a water park or an amusement park, you have probably ridden on a water slide that was really tall, really fast, or really scary. However, you probably haven't seen or experienced some of the craziest rides because they were forced to be shut down. Every year, over 4,000 people are hospitalized due to injuries that occur at water parks, and even more people are injured and treated at the water park and are never counted as injured. In a few extreme cases, water slides with bad track records of injuries and even deaths are forced to shut down. Interested in seeing some of the most dangerous water slides that have been banned? Well, you're in for a treat. In this video, we will be taking a look at 5 insane water slides that got banned. Interact with us, subscribe and hit the notification button to be notified when we upload more content. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and comment down below. Thanks! Shoot the Rapids. Shoot the Rapids was a Western-themed log flume ride located at the amusement park Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. Shoot the Rapids opened in the summer of 2010 and was based around taking riders through a rustic Western environment and an illegal moonshine business. The ride featured special effects such as rock canyons, geysers, water features, a dark tunnel, and 2 lift hills that created crazy unheard of drops. Look at this. The second drop crossed under the first drop. What? The first drop was at 85 feet up and the second drop was at 49 feet in the air. Each drop came down at about a 45-degree angle. The boats for this ride held up to 10 passengers each and was labeled by the park as an aggressive thrill ride. Aggressive? Not the word normally used to describe a log flume ride, but anyway, Shoot the Rapids cost $10.5 million for the park to build and was a tribute to a log flume ride that had been a part of the amusement park back in the 60s. In 2013, a boat on Shoot the Rapids ride went down one of the drops backwards and flipped over. The passengers were strapped into the boat and had to be rescued by the workers operating the ride. Luckily, no one drowned, but 6 of the 7 passengers in the boat were injured, with one even having to go to the hospital. After this incident, the amusement park closed the ride for the rest of the season in order to review its safety, but chose for it to remain open. Even after the ride reopened, many guests of the amusement park reported mechanical issues with the Shoot the Rapids ride. Because of the majority and potentially life-threatening accident that occurred, many guests, even those that were frequent visitors to the park, avoided the ride or were scared to try it. After only 5 years, the Shoot the Rapids ride was officially closed and eventually replaced with another ride. Cedar Point would only state that the Shoot the Rapids ride was taken away due to the low amount of riders that the attraction received. The Steamer Slide. The Steamer Slide at Calypso Theme Water Park near Ottawa, Canada began to show some alarming red flags in 2011. On this water slide, riders would go down an enclosed tube on an inner tube and be swirled around a toilet-like bowl and then be sent down another enclosed tube to end up in the shallow pool below. Many guests of the water park complained about being thrown out of the inner tube after the bowl portion of the steamer ride. This led to the public having concerns about the safety of the water slide. In an anonymous review of Calypso Theme Water Park posted on a travel website, a patron of the water park says that she and her husband were ejected from the inner tube on the steamer and she ended up sustaining a broken collarbone that took 6 weeks for her to recover from. The woman says that her husband suffered a mild concussion and prominent bruising, and that the couple were only offered free passes as compensation from Calypso. They were not able to use the free passes due to them expiring before the injuries were fully healed. In another instance on the steamer that same year, a woman was flipped out of the inner tube in a similar fashion and it broke one of the vertebrae in her back in 2 places. This woman had to be taken out of the park on a backboard and wore a halo vest for 4 months following the injury. There were 10 injuries caused by the steamer in a 1-month period during 2011, but Calypso Theme Water Park continued to ignore the signs that the steamer slide was a dangerous liability, until finally, 4 years later, the water park was bombarded with legal action. The park was faced with up to 20 charges and ended up paying nearly $500,000 in fines due to the harm caused by the steamer slide and several other attractions at the park. The ride was never fully shut down, but underwent adjustments to make the ride less dangerous, and it was rebranded as a ride called Steamer Full Speed Ahead in a section of the water park called the Turbo Lab. Cannonball Loop. Action Park was a combination water and amusement park located in Vernon, New Jersey that operated from the late 70s to mid-90s before being renovated and rebranded as Mountain Creek Water Park in 1998. Many of its rides were unique but also considered quite dangerous. The park became well known for being hazardous and having negligent staff, earning its nicknames such as Accident Park and Class Action Park. Cannonball Loop was a water slide that was part of Action Park's Water World section, which was one of the first few water parks in the United States. Cannonball Loop was a fully enclosed body slide, meaning riders went down with just their body and no inner tube. As the ride's name implies, the closed tube created a 360-degree vertical loop at the end of a 15 to 20-foot drop. The 360 loop is a feature that is usually reserved for roller coasters. Employees at Action Park reported that they were asked to test the ride for a bonus of $100. It is also rumored that some test dummies that were sent down the slide ended up coming out with lost limbs. The ride was only open for 1 month in summer 1985 before it was closed at the order of New Jersey's Advisory Board on Carnival Amusement Ride Safety. Workers at the park reported that the ride caused bloody noses and back injuries to its riders. One rider reportedly got stuck at the top of the loop due to insufficient water pressure in the tube and the rider's low body weight. The slide was then renovated to include a hatch at the bottom of the loop so that the people could be easily extracted from the slide if needed. After some use, sand and dirt would start to accumulate at the bottom of the loop, and riders would exit with abrasions on their back, so the ride would have to be shut down and cleaned occasionally. Despite all the injuries and mishaps surrounding Cannonball Loop, guests reported that more caution was exercised by the workers operating the slide than at many other rides in the theme park. Riders of Cannonball Loop were weighed and hosed down with cold water, required to remove any jewelry, and then carefully instructed in how they had to position their bodies to go down the tube. Cannonball Loop supposedly reopened a few times over the years before Action Park shut down, to no more success than its original run. It reopened in the summer of 1995 for only a few days before injuries sustained on the ride caused it to be shut down again. Even while the Cannonball Loop was closed, it was never taken down. It would stand at the entrance of Water World until Action Park itself was shut down. Super Speed Water Slides. The Super Speed Water Slides, also referred to as Geronimo Falls, were another set of water slides at the now rebranded Action Park in Vernon, New Jersey. It was a simple ride with 2 slides that went nearly straight down, which allowed riders to attain a very high speed. While speed slides are a fairly common type of water slide, Geronimo Falls was much more steep than the speed slides we see today. Because the beginning of the slide was nearly vertical, the first few feet of the slide was fully enclosed to ensure that the rider did not fall off of the slide. However, quite a few people would still lift off of the slide and hit the covering, which reportedly caused riders to sustain lacerations in a few cases. The rest of the slide had no covering, and because of the low sides on the slide, the lifeguards had to warn riders to keep their body as flat as possible as to not fall off of the slide. A fall from that height could have caused serious injuries, but luckily it never happened. Despite the dangers that the super speed water slides held, they were actually one of the rides at Action Park that was responsible for the least injuries. The super speed water slides permanently closed along with Action Park itself in 1995. When the park reopened as Mountain Creek Water Park, the super speed water slides were replaced with another speed slide called H2O No. However, this slide was much less steep than the original. Verruckt. Verruckt was a water slide that opened in July of 2014 at Schlitterbahn, Kansas City. The ride's name is a German word that means crazy or insane. Upon opening, the water slide became the tallest in the world at a height of 168 feet and 7 inches. The ride featured an initial drop and then sloped upward and ended with a final drop. The ride was originally planned to open a year earlier than it actually did, but its debut was pushed back due to issues with its construction and testing. While the slide was being tested to ensure its safety, the sandbags placed in the rafts in place of people were often seen flying into the air while going down the slide. The entire bottom half of the slide had to be torn down and rebuilt at a less steep angle because of this. However, even in the final version of the ride, the rafts would reach up to 70 miles per hour. Several lifeguards and even a safety consultant expressed concerns about the slide, and the safety consultant suggested a 16 years or older age restriction. Despite all of these warning signs, Schlitterbahn went ahead with the slide and opened it with no age restriction. Even though videos of the sandbags going airborne leaked and went viral, Verruckt became a popular and well-reviewed ride. However, it was not uncommon for the rafts to rise into the air while going down the last hill of the ride. Over the time that the ride operated, 13 riders sustained non-fatal injuries ranging from concussions to facial cuts and bruisings to slipped or herniated discs due to being thrown into the air and hitting the netting that wrapped over the top of the slide. It is believed that the water park tried to cover up many of these injuries through improperly reporting them. In 2016, tragedy struck when a 10-year-old boy died going down the slide. He was thrown into the air during the second drop and was decapitated by the metal netting above the slide. The 2 women that were in the raft with him also suffered severe injuries, including a broken jaw and a facial bone fracture. The entire park was closed for several days following the boy's death, and the ride was closed for inspection over several months before being demolished. The boy's death on Verruckt led to the state's legislator being charged so that all amusement park attractions must be inspected by the state. There were also criminal charges pressed against Schlitterbahn and several of their employees in 2018, but they were later dismissed. Can you believe these insane water slides? Some of them make us wonder how these parks even got away with building them. Let us know what you think in the comments below. That's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and comment down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you're new to the channel to be notified when we upload more content. Thanks!